We're taking shrimp to a whole nother level today. Tender, covered in a sweet mayo sauce with crunchy candied nuts. Oh my goodness, can't wait. Hey everyone, I'm Flo, Dude is behind the camera, and we're all about simple food, simple faith. This recipe is super expensive to eat at a restaurant. I think the last time we ordered it, it was like maybe $28. Mind you, it was at a fancy Chinese restaurant, and you only get like one prawn per person. This dish is known as walnut prawns. We're using shrimp today, and actually I'm using pecans because that's what I have at home. And there was no need for me to go out just to buy walnuts for this dish because pecans work really, really well. This recipe was requested by Yoki, one of our patrons on Patreon. This one's going out to you. I'm gonna start with the nuts. I'm heating up my little pot here, using a 1/4 cup of water along with a 1/4 cup of sugar. And we're going to turn this into sort of like a caramelized simple syrup to cover the nuts. So this is on medium heat. Syrup tends to burn really quickly once you get to a certain point, so you gotta watch it. So the caramel is boiling. So we want this to turn an amber color. Now it goes from amber to burnt really, really fast, so you really have to watch it. It'll take about 3, maybe up to 5 minutes, but like I said, you just really have to watch it to make sure it doesn't go beyond the color that you want. Okay, so this is 3 minutes. You want it to be a little bit more than this. You see most of the water has evaporated. You just want enough to coat the nuts. Okay, I'm turning off the heat. It's only been about 30 seconds more. So 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm dumping the nuts in. Okay, so we want to cover all the nuts. Using chopsticks helped a little bit. And we did want to keep the heat on a little bit longer, maybe on a lower temp, so that it doesn't burn, which is like starting to do now. And then get this onto a pan lined with parchment paper. Don't use paper towel because it will stick to the paper towel. So I'm just going to try to separate these nuts as best as we can. And pecans work really well in place of walnuts because they're quite similar. And who doesn't like praline pecans? Okay, so as you can see, the sugar will solidify very quickly. So you gotta work fast. And like I said, this is the hardest part, making sure you get the candied nuts right. Okay, we're just gonna set this aside to cool. And a reminder, never touch the caramel with your finger, ever. It's really, really hot and it will burn you. I'm using about 1 pound of shrimp here. You can use prawns. I really don't know what the difference is. I've taken off the shells and they already came deveined, so the veins have been taken out. And I've given them a rinse, they're defrosted, and I've patted them dry with some paper towels. This is Cat in training to make sure that they can behave while I cook and when we are filming. They pay no attention to us, really, most of the time. They just want to bite the wires that are everywhere. The last time I made this was years ago, actually, before air fryers were even a thing. And so I think it was probably the one time I decided that it was worth deep frying. So if you don't have an air fryer, you can always deep fry. And I am using about 1/2 cup of potato starch. And you know, normally I would take each one and dip it in the potato starch, but if I can find a better way, because I can't be bothered, I'm gonna try. So these are, again, I had dried the shrimp, and I'm just going to see if I can get them coated. Whoa, that probably wasn't very smart, huh, dude?
No comment.
Oh, but look, so much faster than dipping each one individually.
Here on the set of FLO'S channel, fly by the seat of our pants.
Okay, I preheated my air fryer to 325 and I heated it up for about 2 minutes just to get it warm. And I'm gonna put the shrimp in here now and see how many I can fit in a single layer. I might have to do this in a couple of batches. Maximize space. And if you don't have potato starch, you can use rice flour or even cornstarch. I don't think cornstarch gives as good of a crunch on them, but you can try. But if you're deep frying, cornstarch would work just fine. Because shrimp and prawns don't have any fat on them, I am going to spray it with some vegetable oil. Okay, cooking this for 8 to 10 minutes on 325 degrees Fahrenheit. Just start with 8, and then we're gonna toss them halfway through. So I will check on it at 4 minutes. The sauce is super easy to make. We are using a 1/4 cup of mayo. And 2 tablespoons of condensed milk. About a teaspoon of lemon juice. I'm just using this bottled lemon juice because I keep this just in case. I need some without having, if I didn't have any lemons. And a pinch of salt. And that is it. Oh my goodness, the other dangerous thing about making this is that if you don't have a can of sweetened condensed milk already available, what are you gonna do with the rest of it? All right, we are just wanting these to be cooked through. The potato starch, what it does is it gives the mayo something to stick to. So there's just a little bit of crispiness on the outside. It only took me 6 minutes in the air fryer. So depending on the size of your shrimp, it may be more or less 6 to 8 minutes of cook time. At the halfway mark, when I stirred the shrimp around, I did notice that there was some potato starch that wasn't getting crisped up. And so I just gave it another squirt of oil, and that seemed to help a little bit. So I'll just put it all in this bowl for now. And they are a little bit crispy, even though that's not what we're going for, but in any case. Okay, dumping all of this into my mayo sauce. And we're just going to make sure everything gets coated. Oh my goodness, it smells so good.
I am so hungry, dude.
Don't forget the nuts. Just toss that in there. And if you think that's too many nuts, you didn't have to add all of it. You can just eat the other half on its own. I'm just putting this into a serving plate so that it looks nicer.
Ooh, my mouth is watering.
All right, are you all ready for?
I am. The taste. Unlike Flo and her fancy eating pedigree, I didn't experience walnut prawns until later in life. And when I did, my mind was blown. Because up to that point, prawns, you know, you go to a Greek restaurant, garlic prawns. You go to Italian, you know, garlic prawns. This combination, oh my Lanta. So you get perfectly cooked shrimp, coated, well, let me get some of that candied pecans, perfectly cooked, coated in the most luxurious of sauces because it accomplishes the salt, fat, acid, and heat all in one, going in. It doesn't help that I'm so hungry, my stomach was growling during the shoot. Oh man, this is good. Without that air fry technique, that sauce would just slide off the shrimp, but it coats it so nicely. And here goes. Candied nuts. If you don't like them, what's wrong with you? Dude, so good. Yep.
I remember the very first time I made this recipe when I had deep fried the shrimp. My then 5-year-old son said, Mama, you did such a good job cooking tonight. Well, I really hope that you guys can see how easy it is to make this very expensive dish at home. For more air fryer recipes, check it out, and I will see you over there.